Just south of Delhi and a point on India's Golden Triangle is Jaipur. It is one of the most beautiful cities in India with a high density of regal palaces, city halls, and elaborate temples. It is often referred to as the Pink City because of its distinctive color palette that covers most of the buildings in the old town. I spent my first day in Rajasthan's capital, wandering these pink streets, admiring the ornate architecture, and here's how it went.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to Jaipur, India, the Pink City. Jaipur is just about a 4 or 5 hour train ride from Delhi, and it's part of the Golden Triangle of Delhi, Jaipur, and Agra. And Jaipur specifically used to be a place of many palaces and kings and forts. So to this day you have these massive forts that are way up in the hills, and there's these huge castles and palaces everywhere with just beautiful ornate architecture, very distinct regal look to the city. It's known as one of the most beautiful cities here in India, and it's known as the Pink City because in the late 1800s the Prince of Wales, Albert Edward, came to India and they started painting the whole town pink, and a lot of the streets are painted pink, a lot of the buildings are painted pink, and it has this just beautiful color palette to it. And yeah, so there's lots of cool architecture and just really cool history here in Jaipur. So I have a couple days here in Jaipur. So today I'm looking forward to exploring just kind of the downtown here, the main part of Jaipur that's down from the hill a little bit. And then again, in the surrounding areas, there's the Amber Fort, which used to be the capital of Rajasthan, which is kind of up in the hills, but it's tucked away a little bit. So once the population outgrew the hill area and they needed more water, more resources, they came down into the lowlands here. So yeah, but today I'm going to be checking out a lot of the pink part of the city here in the lower part of Jaipur, the city palace, the Hawa Mahal, some of the bazaars. And yeah, this is one of my favorite places in India last time, and it's just so pretty, so picturesque. So yeah, gonna grab some breakfast here on the rooftop of my hotel, and then I'll start wandering around the city, and yeah, I'll show you what I find along the way. I love the street chai here. It's so cool. So I've just passed through the Ajmeri gate, which is this big pink gate that kind of enters you into the old town here of Jaipur. And as soon as you pass that gate, suddenly everything is pink. All of the buildings, all of the shops, the restaurants, the little kiosks, and it's just this beautiful color palette. It's this pinkish orange, and it's just very colorful, very beautiful. So it's a little bit early here, so a lot of the shops aren't quite open yet, but the streets are still pretty busy, as you can hear. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wander around the old town here and see what I find. So I've just kind of crossed the old town of Jaipur here, and right in the center circle there's this little flower market. There's a bunch of guys stringing together flowers. One of them actually gave me a flower and said, "Welcome to India." And so anyways, as things are starting to open up, I'm on this main street here, and there's the Iswari Minar, which is a big minaret kind of in the center of Old Town that you can climb up to get a view. So yeah, while we still have this nice morning light and while things are still opening up, let's head up the tower and get a nice view overlooking Jaipur. top of Iswari, which is this giant tower. It's about 140 feet high, and when they moved the city from the Amber Fort up in the mountains down to Jaipur city here in about 1750, they built this magnificent pillar. And from up here, you just have this beautiful view looking all over Jaipur city. You can see some of the mountains off in the distance here. You can see one of the forts up here. And yeah, it's free to come up here, but it was pretty hard to find the entrance because it wasn't on the main street. You had to kind of like go around the back of like the shopping center, so it was a little difficult to find, but when you find it, it's free to come up here. And there's no stairs, there's just like this ramp that spirals you all the way up this tower. So yeah, but very beautiful view, and it just gives you're right above City Palace, which we'll check out later, so you just get this beautiful view looking down on all of the magnificent architecture here in Jaipur. So we're pretty centrally located here. We're just a couple blocks away from the Hawa Mahal, which is the very iconic pink building with all the windows here in the center of Jaipur, Pink City. So yeah, let's head over to Hawa Mahal. I was just walking to the Hawa Mahal, and I just walked by this like surprisingly really hip coffee shop called Nothing Before Coffee, and they have all of these really interesting, they're called shrapes, so it's like a frozen latte. So, and there's like this pistachio shrape, so yeah, let's check it out. Wow, this is one of the best drinks I've ever had. It's like a milkshake. It's like a really thick, textured milkshake, but it has like a coffee flavor and pistachio, and then there's like pistachio sprinkled on top, and oh, it's so refreshing. It's so good. So I've just made it to Hawa Mahal, which is like one of the most famous and iconic pieces of architecture here in the Pink City of Jaipur, and one of the most famous buildings in all of India. It's just this beautiful honeycomb-shaped building. It's about 5 stories high, and it was built in 1799 by the grandson of the founder of Jaipur. And in the architecture here, there's 953 of these small windows, and they were built so that during royal processions and parades that were happening here on the main street, the women could look down from their rooms, from the palace, and see what was happening on the street, but they wouldn't be seen through the lattice work of the windows. So you just have these like beautiful like honeycomb shaped windows. So anyways, this is actually the back of the palace. We'll go around to the front of the palace and go inside a little bit later. But there are some cafes and stuff up here across the street from Hawa Mahal where you can just get like a nice drink, something to eat, and just admire the architecture from up there. So, but very, very cool palace here. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like right on this busy main street. So yeah, let's go find a cafe and enjoy the views. So I've just come up to the Wind Cafe, which is right across the street from the Hawa Mahal, and I have this nice table up on the rooftop patio looking right down on Hawa Mahal. And they actually didn't have any Indian food on the menu, so I got a pizza. But yeah, just gonna enjoy this view, and then off here we can see some of the mountains in the distance, we can see the fort, and there's just so much noise. I mean, everywhere in India there's so much noise, but I'm hearing the honking of the horns, I'm hearing like music down here, there's a snake charmer down there like playing a flute. So just crazy and chaotic, and I absolutely love it. But yeah, this view of Hawa Mahal is just beautiful, and just nice to get up above the street level. Again, it's still loud, but you're just like up above it all. You just feel a little bit more calm, a little bit more peaceful. And yeah, gonna just enjoy these views and enjoy sitting here for a little bit. I think this will be like the best view of Hawa Mahal, but you can enter the actual palace around the back. So I'm gonna go around the back and see what the Hawa Mahal looks like from the inside. So let's go check it out. Alright guys, so it was about $3 to enter the Hawa Mahal, and then you come up these stairs and you enter this like open courtyard here with a fountain, and you can see the back of the lattice windows that we saw from the street here. There's some guys playing drums in the other room, there's people making turbans for you, and yeah, it's just like this very lively courtyard. So it looks like you can explore, go up the stairs a little bit and check out some different levels of the palace here. So let's keep walking and explore the Hawa Mahal. Let the selfies begin. Everyone wants a selfie here. As you keep exploring here, there's stairs that keep winding you up and up and up to get you higher and higher to the different levels of the palace here. So we have just made it to the top of the Hawa Mahal Palace here, and as you were coming up, you could look out through a couple of the lattice windows that we were seeing from across the street there, and you could see what it was like to look down on the street from these windows here. And there's also just like a really nice breeze coming through the windows and the lattice work there, which was another function of these windows, was to kind of give the palace a nice cooling system. So from up here, we can look back over City Palace. We can see a lot of Jaipur. We can see some of the mountains in the distance. And yeah, it's just this really, it's actually like a very narrow platform up here at the top. There's not a lot of room here, and it's very crowded, tons of people, and you're just like constantly pushing and shoving your way to get different views and places, but that's India, so you're always shoving and pushing if you want to get anywhere. So yeah, beautiful views up here. I'm gonna keep exploring the Hawa Mahal a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of cool to make it all the way to the top of the 5-story windows here at Hawa Mahal. Alright guys, so that was Hawa Mahal. Very interesting to see the inside of such an iconic palace here in Jaipur. It was cool to like go up there and look through those windows back down on the street that we were just looking up at the palace from. And yeah, there was just a lot going on there too, like a lot of music, there was the puppet show, and just yeah, very cool energy walking around Hawa Mahal. So anyways, just a couple blocks from here is the City Palace, which is another building here that is known for some beautiful architecture and some ornate designs. So let's go check out City Palace. I just paid about $9 for the entrance ticket to the City Palace here, but we have just like this big open area, and there's just going to be beautiful architecture, really ornate design everywhere. And as I'm walking in here, I just hear a bunch of people drumming and dancing over here. So let's go check this out. Alright guys, that was a really cool way to enter the City Palace. There was just all these people dancing, playing the drums, the cymbals. There were a bunch of like tourists in there dancing and everything. So yeah, but anyways, right in the middle here, there's just this big open courtyard, and then in the middle of the courtyard there's the museum, the Muhabbarak Museum, which has just these very ornate facades and archways, and there's just going to be a lot of like really beautiful architecture. This was the Royal Palace, which was established in 1727 when the capital was moved from the Amber Fort down here to the lowlands of Jaipur. And it still actually houses the royal family. The royal family lives somewhere in this complex, and yeah, so it's just going to be this very beautiful ornate architecture and buildings everywhere. There's a lot of museums and things that you can learn about, like the history here of Jaipur and of the royal family. So yeah, let's just walk around and see what we can find here in the City Palace. So I've just walked through a couple courtyards here in the City Palace, and in the first few courtyards that you go to, there's a little like palace in the middle of the courtyard that just has some beautiful archways and everything. And then you kind of come off to the side of one of the courtyards and you enter this other courtyard where you have these 4 really ornate doors that you see a lot on guides for India and everything, and they just have these beautiful, very ornate outside to them, and then there are these nice gold doors, and they just have such beautiful detail surrounding the whole door. So let's check out the 4 doors in this courtyard. From this little courtyard here with these 4 very ornate doors, you can see the royal residence right behind us. So that's where the royal family actually resides for parts of the year. So alright guys, so that was about it for the city palace. There's a lot of museums, and you can actually go into a couple of these palace rooms, but you aren't allowed to take any photos or videos, and they just have like portraits of all of the rulers of Rajasthan. And it's actually really cool to kind of see like the throne room and just like the beautiful ornate architecture. But even like just walking around a couple of the courtyards here, you can admire so much of the architecture. You can see the royal palaces and just like how ornate some of the doors and archways are. So very cool. Anyways, I'm gonna head back to the town of Jaipur. There's a couple bazaars. There's the Jahari Bazaar, which is like this jewelry bazaar, and the Bapu Bazaar, which is leather and fragrances. So yeah, let's just kind of walk through town and check out some of the streets of Jaipur. So I'm back on the streets of Jaipur here, and I found this guy that does old photography on the street here. So he has this old, how old is this camera?
175 years old.
175 years old, this camera. It's his great-great-grandfather.
Lens of the Zeiss
lens. So he has this old camera here, 175 years old, a little backdrop here. So we're gonna take a photo. It's about $4 or $5 to get a photograph, so let's try it. Alright guys, so he just took my first photo here, and now he has the negative, and then he's going to take a picture of the negative to get the positive image. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that was super cool. I'd always wanted to get one of those old photos done. So it was only like $4 or $5 to just do it on the streets here of Jaipur with this awesome guy with a camera that's like 175 years old. And I'm super happy with how the photos came out. And it was just so cool. So he set everything up, and then he just took the cap off for a couple seconds to get the exposure, and then just threw it back on, got the negative, and then he put the negative on a backdrop. He took a photo of the negative to get a positive. So super cool, super, like one of the coolest souvenirs I've ever gotten. So pretty stoked about it. So anyways, let's just keep walking around the streets of Jaipur here and see what other cool stuff we find. Alright guys, so I walked briefly through the colorful bazaars of Jaipur. There were just these colorful fabrics, these leather sandals, tons of jewelry, food stands, and it was just a very colorful, vibrant market there. So, but I've kind of come out the south of the old town here to the central park of Jaipur, and in the middle of the central park there's Albert Hall, which is this museum of Jaipur. And you can't take a lot of photo or video inside the museum, but the outside of the museum just has this beautiful like palace architecture, and there's just tons of pigeons flying around, and it's just a really beautiful museum. So that was about it for Albert Hall. I didn't spend too much time in there. I'm pretty exhausted today, but yeah, pretty cool museum. They have like a bunch of old artifacts from a bunch of old civilizations. There was old like Roman artwork, old Egyptian artwork, old Indian artwork, and it's just in this like beautiful old palace with, again, just beautiful Indian like arched doors and everything. So yeah, very cool. Anyways, guys, that's about it for today for the old town of the Pink City of Jaipur. Lots of just really beautiful architecture, amazing history here in the capital of Rajasthan, and just such like interesting palaces, and yeah, very, very cool place to explore, and just beautiful city. So anyways, I'm gonna head back. Pretty exhausted from traveling India the last couple days. And yeah, gonna just like rest this evening, and then tomorrow I'm gonna head out to some more of the outskirts of Jaipur, going to the Amber Fort and the Monkey Temple and a couple of the other forts around here, but I'll probably put that in the next video. So yeah, that's about it for today, and I'll see you guys next time when we explore the outskirts of Jaipur. So see you guys then.